Heidi ho, everyone. Welcome back to We Bombastic View. I'm your host, Lindsay, with your other two hosts. You guys want to say hi?
Hi, I'm Daniel.
Brent is here also.
All right. Thanks for joining us, guys. We first want to apologize for our last episode, working out some things with our first guest. We were excited to introduce him and have him on top of these new hypotheticals that were given to you. Also, though, we want to announce that we are fully on Apple, Google, Anchor, YouTube, and all social media platforms. It took us a while to get onto Apple and Twitter and Facebook, but we're finally on there. Thank you for your patience. Mostly my fault, but we figured it out. And your guy, anything else you guys want to say before we get started?
I'm ready to go.
You got it. Yeah.
All right, let's go. First thing we're going to do today is introduce the bombastic word of the day. The idea of this little mini implemented segment is that we're going to try to say it as much as we can throughout the episode. And today's or this week's word is lassitude, meaning weariness or lack of energy. And honestly, this week, along with our other two hosts, we were fighting lassitude as college students. We were weary. We had some extreme amount of homework, and we had to stay on top of it so we can do this podcast and have fun.
I feel like
Brent,
that's cheating to say it right after you've given the definition. That doesn't count
I'm not.
towards you.
That doesn't count as it. It's just an example.
By the way, we're going to try and
You're right,
keep
it
track
doesn't
of how
count.
many times each person says the word to make it a little bit of a competition. But all right, so first section of today. We're doing a new one now. It's called paranormal location. So the idea of this is we're going to take a random paranormal location. We're going to describe it, give a couple testimonials from people, and then talk about like what we think about it, if we would ever visit it, and just see where the conversation takes us. So today we're going to be investigating the Devil's Tramping Ground. Now, the Devil's Trampling Ground is a clearing near Harper's Crossroads area in Bear Creek, North Carolina. It's a 40-foot circle that has nothing growing in it, and it's a source of paranormal activity. According to the lore, even transplanted vegetation will wither and die. And the strange part is, anything left in the circle will, quote, violently be thrown outside its bounds by dawn, unquote. Animals are reported to refuse to go near it, and the big deal, quote, the devil spends his nights pacing around the circle and turning his bitter mind towards ways to bring human souls to dangnation, unquote. Keeping it PG for you guys. So all this info is from a very reputable source, NorthCarolinaGhost.com. I put a lot of trust into this one. Some more articles just for reference. They've got the Ghost of Chicken Valley, the Rum Keg Girl, the Bath Curse, the Yogi Bear Graveyard. So they got all the big ones. North Carolina is a ghost hotspot, if you didn't know. So this Devil's Trampling Ground has been known of since the American Revolutionary War. And some theories are that a UFO landed here, and that's what's causing the paranormal activity, or it was an ancient meeting place of Native American chiefs where they did rituals there. But so before I give some specific testimonials, what are your guys' thoughts on it?
And where did you say this was again? Was this North
Carolina.
Okay, I figured since that's what the website name was. And we have a picture pulled up in front of us.
Yeah,
but
so describe the picture for the listeners.
So what it looks like is nearly a completely straight line of trees, of like a line of the forest, and then in front of that line, the entrance to the forest is this flat surface that looks like it has a lot of dead leaves, and then in the center is this very dark, almost burnt, like worn down area that has a lot of, it's kind of blurry, but it's a lot of ash and almost like a lot of like black and white stuff in the middle of it.
Right.
But I, for one, have not heard of this. We kind of wanted to keep it a little more reactionary, if that's even a word. Me and Daniel have not heard of this until just now. But That seems very strange, especially like I feel like there's going to be some testimonies that you're about to share with things being violently thrown from its circle by morning. That seems crazy to me in itself. I personally am one not very familiar with a lot of paranormal stories aside from maybe the Conjuring movie. Uh, that's all I've seen.
I mean,
Uh,
what other paranormal stories are there, really?
that's all you need, right? Uh, but I really don't know. I'm curious though.
Daniel, any thoughts initially?
Yeah, it's hard to tell with these things how much is just people trying to contribute to legend or just their mind conjuring up things that they want to see.
But
Uh,
things being violently thrown from its like that seems because the specifically there's like one story of like campers who would camp in the middle and then they'd wake up miles away from it, like not
Wow.
knowing how they got there.
Hmm.
I don't know. It doesn't seem like violently thrown though.
Well, okay, yeah, it was violent in the sense that they were thrown a long distance, and by thrown I mean teleported. I don't know. All right, so the article I was reading concludes after multiple like it gives a bunch of warnings, and then the very next section is how to get there and specific instructions if you're wanting. But so from there, I went around, tried to find a couple different stories of people who went there, not just like legends. And so some like general people stories that I found that like didn't give a whole like story listed out, but just listed off some things that happened there. So one person's camp group claimed that their fire, which had been put out earlier in the night, spontaneously reignited later on in the night, and they tried to put it out and it wouldn't go out for like 10 minutes, and then they were able to put it out and it stayed out. And then someone else's radar detector would go off in the middle of the night at random times even though it was unplugged. And then specifically the story I found from on Reddit from Run You Clever. So basically they and two of their friends went there around 6 p.m., looked around, didn't see much, so they went back to the car. But they decided they didn't drive all that way for nothing. So they went back out in the dark around 8 p.m. when one of their friends shouted to run. They all sprinted back to the car, and once they were back in the car, the friend that saw something refused to speak. Once they were 2 hours away back at their house, he revealed that he saw a shadow of a humanoid creature with large wings coming after one of their friends. What
Hmm.
do you think about that?
I honestly, my first reaction wants to be like kind of what Daniel mentioned, just someone either wanting to contribute to legend or kind of their minds making them see something. Um, However, honestly, like I'm not a paranormal expert, so I don't know what that
I mean,
could
you've seen The
actually
Conjuring,
entail.
therefore you are.
Therefore, I actually am a professional. I'm just being humble.
Uh huh.
Um, but the the fact that the campers previously mentioned were found miles away from it after sleeping, camping out,
That's according to the lore. I didn't find any actual like
testimony.
testimonials of that.
Okay, that one intrigued me more so than a shadow humanoid figure.
The
But that would be
person
freaky to see.
the person does mention that like that was like quote unquote a like a devil creature or something, and that like that type of figure has been known, and that person didn't know, like they didn't have a phone or access to the internet at the time, and so they like came up with that image without having known that it's associated with that place. But even so, it's like dark, that's not incredibly unique, so I don't buy that entirely. That is like guaranteed proof. But yeah, Daniel, what do you think?
I I don't know. Like, what do I think? Would I go there? What are you asking me?
We'll go to will you go there later, but do you think that it's haunted slash these stories have anything to them?
Um, I'm not one to discount what people say they've seen if I wasn't there, but I am skeptical. You know, I'm not sure if I would go. I know that's getting ahead of ourselves, but I'm not sure I believe it either.
I would 100% check it out.
I think
Like
I would want to go too.
the I think it would be super interesting. Worst case scenario, you get thrown miles away.
You wake up
Like
a few miles away.
yeah,
Yeah.
and your fire doesn't go out. Like I can deal with that. But so everyone knows, the this place is now private property, and the owner will press charges against campers because they've been trashing the place and cutting down trees and stuff. But there are rumors that they will be making it a campground soon, so possibly look out for that. But in full transparency, I spent exactly like an hour and 37 minutes looking for these 3 testimonials I found. I looked at it, had to have been at least like 100 different reviews. Everyone saying, yeah, nothing happened there. It was just trashed with beer cans and stuff. So, based on our review, a couple 100 miles away, not haunted, safe to go, take your kids. Yeah. And the coordinates, if you need them, are 35.584783 degrees north and 79.487017 degrees west.
Appreciate that.
Wow.
Yep.
I'm gonna have
Great.
to plug
Yeah,
that
let
in
me
and
just,
head that way.
Wow. I know how to get there.
Plug that into your basic GPS. Take out your sextant. Find your latitude and go find it.
I think this kind of stuff is interesting, though. As far as
I-
like how long has this legend existed? Is it like
Since the Revolutionary War, so that's when it started. Like that, non-Native Americans were made aware of the paranormal activity. So it seems like something could be going on there. But personally, I'm inclined to think the UFO landed there because that makes the most sense to me.
Well, I mean, and when you look at it, like it's kind of weird. Like it's just a clearing, and then in the middle of the clearing is giant burnings. Then you're thinking, well, like you might think something's going on there, but my first thought if I go there would be like people had a big fire right there.
Yeah.
You know,
It was the
like,
local s'more camping ground area.
Do you know if there was any like other significance of that area, like prior to like stories of it?
I
I
did
mean,
a
if you
lot of
don't-
research on it, but unfortunately, NorthCarolinaGhost.com did not have all
answer.
the information I was looking for. Great website, though. Very interesting. Would recommend.
All right. Transitioning to our next segment, we have a bombastic quote. If you want to finish a task quickly, then be swift in your actions. Daniel?
So I am introducing today's hypothetical, but first a quick story. Now, I think a lot of us have heard the old legend that George Washington had false wooden teeth.
Yeah.
And we all assumed it was because there was poor hygiene. But this actually is not the case. When you do the research and study history, what you find out is that George Washington actually made a venture to the top of Matterhorn and met with the King of Griffins. And he sacrificed his teeth
Oh,
to the
yeah.
Griffin in awe and inspiration of his, just incredible figure,
Right. I remember this.
Okay,
And
yeah.
so
Coming back.
The hypothetical for today is, what if this had his sacrifice to the King of Griffins, it pleased the King of Griffins, and he gave every human the ability to fly at 70 miles per hour, 75 miles per hour, or give or take,
Yeah, around that much. All right. So some clarifying things. We're gonna say everyone can fly at 75 miles per hour. It doesn't matter if you were just born, Michael Phelps, or like 170 years old. You can fly at 75 miles per hour. So
Flat rate.
yeah, flat rate. So the question is, how is that gonna change society? So one thing I want to talk about is sports. Like, you can't really have basketball anymore because everyone can fly. So it's just not going to be impressive anymore when people can jump high, because it's like, there's got to be a referee who's dedicated to, was he flying? And so I don't think that referee is going to exist. So I don't think basketball is going to exist anymore.
Well, I do have another important clarifying question. That is this, how much energy is this expending? Is it like walking
Virtually
speed?
none. Like, you can do it like, if you needed to go
Like with
cross
these?
country, it's not that big of a deal.
Huh.
Right. Okay.
So like, it takes virtually no effort. Everyone can do it.
So
What's the game, the tournament in Harry Potter? What's
Quidditch?
Oh,
Quidditch?
yeah.
That's what this is right here. We're
D-
playing
d-
Quidditch now.
Do I have to carry a broom with me though, even though I can do it on my own?
For respect for the Harry Potter series, yes. But that's only on special occasions.
But I feel like the Harry Potter series wouldn't have been made because it's like, why would, or that game at least, because why would it be interesting? Everyone can already fly.
Well, it's like basketball. Anyone can run.
Oh,
Most people can run, but it's taking it to competitive level. It's the exact same thing.
But everyone can, in that example, everyone could run at the same speed.
Well, yes, but like, it's not only just that though. It's the ability to work as a team because there's different positions.
I think something that's important here is that we never would have invented the automobile, likely.
Yeah.
Because why would we need it? If everyone can fly at 75 miles per hour, no effort.
Yeah,
Wait.
so no automobile also means no roads. So that
Well, also though,
frees
like,
up.
would this be able to evolve into like a flying carriage type deal where like driving would still be significant because you could drive and a majority of the passengers can rest.
Well, no,
Sleep or whatever.
we like degrade back to Egyptian times where it's like everyone's got plannikins that they just carry people on.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking. Like, what if, like, would we be able to do that? Would that expend too much energy, or would we go back to having a minivan that half our passengers can sleep and not focus?
I mean, but we're going under the assumption that it takes virtually no energy, and so like
But
even
you're
your
pulling
grandma can do it.
Okay.
But
So-
you make dad pull. It's like, dad, you're gonna pull the freaking.
The long hours get us to where we need to go.
Well, everyone's staying away from. No, he's gotta like literally pull the bike rack in air all the way to Mexico for vacation.
RV.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what we have here is a bunch of families flying around carrying their families in wagons.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this takes effort to hold on to the wagon because now you have the wagon pulling you back.
Yeah. The question that it like, and I was thinking about this, it's hard to, so if everyone can go 75 miles per hour, you have to assume, but like everyone can go depending on their masses. So you have to ask, if you add mass, can you like continue to go that speed? And if so, then basically we can get infinite momentum from this by just continually adding mass.
Yeah, your momentum would continuously just get would rise exponentially because, I mean, honestly,
Linearly, but
literally, sorry, but you imagine just a bigger guy decides he wants to fly, and let's say he falls asleep while he's flying. He's had a rough day.
DWF, or I guess it'd be FWI, flying while intoxicated.
Yeah, he had a little too much to drink the night before, and now he's flying and he fell asleep. All right, and then he's going to hit something. All that momentum is going to just continually is going to hit something,
Yeah.
and that could cause some damage.
but everyone else can fly to get out of the way, so he's probably just gonna kill himself by hitting
But a building,
an
like
object.
that momentum's still gonna have something's got to slow him down.
I don't think
Whether it hurts him or not, he's still gonna do some damage to whatever slows him down.
And so obviously
They can cannonball.
the modern plane would still be useful as it can fly at hundreds of miles per hour.
Correct.
500 miles
But-
per hour is the
and
average
the
passenger
altitude.
plane.
Average. But
Yeah, well, yeah.
but
cargo.
would the plane have ever have been invented?
I feel like
it would
Because
seem
we
less-
wanted the flying machine,
it would
but
seem
everyone's a
less
flying machine.
innovative.
And I don't know if we
At
could
that
have
point-
advanced the plane as well as we did if we never invented the automobile. Because
Okay, well, the plane was invented in the 1910s.
yeah, but like in terms of like electrical systems and stuff, like I would almost guarantee that at some point each one helped out each other's in terms of advancement. But like you'd almost have to design like a glider or something that could carry cargo, because you still need something that would be able to like
Control all of the
instead
extra
of
stuff.
airports, like all those workers are just converted to people who like help hold up like a giant tarp that carry cargo across country and stuff. Also, mailmen would be terrifying because like they'd have to be carrying like giant, just like bags of mail flying through the air.
Well, actually, it's kind of like I don't know if you've played it, Brent, but I'm pretty sure you have, Lindsay. Legend of Zelda: Wind Waker.
Oh yeah.
It's all the mailmen are these bird people.
Or even Link with a leaf. That little gives it a little puff that gives. I don't know.
It's hard to talk about it when energy and mass don't come into play, because it makes it harder to talk about real life that way.
Mhm.
Yeah. But so travel and sports, those are going to be affected.
Yeah, obviously the main concerns.
And the fact that there are no roads is going to like drastically change.
See, like I'm imagining
Work.
again. What if you purposely made someone bigger fly? You could literally use like a human cannon. They're not going to like. I don't know. I'm thinking more like the like crazy side of it.
Well,
What
but if you calculate the like momentum of a like 200-pound dude going 75 miles per hour, yes, it's probably going to be like decently a large amount of force, but it's still not going to be anything crazy. You can't break through a building with that.
I know, but you still do some damage to a building. You're not gonna like obviously not gonna break through a concrete pillar of it, but you could break some glass.
Yeah. So every skyscraper is now built with reinforced like glass in order that
Exactly,
in
like
case of an
bars.
emergency, people don't try and fly in. Oh, that's a good point. Like instead of elevators, we just have shafts, and then it's like at the roof access would no longer be barred for people.
What if like you don't even have to like parachutes wouldn't be necessary. You wouldn't even have to land the airplane. Just have someone fly out with extra gas for it. The plane could infinitely fly. I like hypothetically, and it wouldn't have to land because everyone could just hop off and hop on.
That it's a bus plane. It's literally a plane, like you said. So it's always going in like a circuit around the United States or something, or just wherever
Around world,
And you just
yeah.
like you flew up, hopped on, and like took a nap. And then it's like, oh, I'm here at Mexico in Canada now. And so you just hop off, and there's one guy always flying up and throwing the fuel in.
Yeah,
not
hopping
bad.
up and down.
Market.
Something that's important to consider is that since this was all due to the actions of George Washington,
Yeah.
the era in which everyone can suddenly move at 75 miles per hour, which was nowhere near possible back then.
Uh-huh.
And, just a quick Google search, America is 4,903 miles from Europe, which would take 65 hours to fly to.
Yeah, 65 hours. Jeez.
So Wait a minute. Hold on. I thought that the story of George Washington wasn't that he sacrificed his teeth. I thought he gained this ability, and then he was the one who fell asleep while flying. He hit his teeth on a wall. I thought that's what the story was.
There's a lot of legends surrounding this story.
Multiple tellings.
They haven't talked about it enough in schools, and I don't think enough historians have really devoted themselves to this topic to really know what happened for sure. But he definitely gained this ability from the Griffins, and he definitely lost his teeth as a result.
Okay.
Those are the only two things we can be sure of. And with that, I think, Daniel, you've got our ad read for us.
I sure do. Today's episode is brought to you by the Antimatter Wallet. Turn your debt into instant profit. Lindsay, I believe you have our next segment.
Yeah, we're introducing a new segment we're going to try out. I feel like it's going to be a little smaller one, but it's going to be funny. It's called Foreign Idioms, where I'm going to read like a saying from different countries, and I'm going to say to them and see what Brent and Daniel can translate out of what I tell them, and then obviously I'll answer that with the actual translation of what it's supposed to be used as.
Quick
the first one.
Hold on.
Go
Quick
ahead.
definition for people who don't know what an idiom is. It's a group of words established by usage as having a meaning not deductible from those of the individual words. So by definition, we shouldn't be able to figure these out. But
Like,
go
it's
ahead.
raining cats and dogs, pretty much. That's an idiom.
An American one, yes.
Yes. All right. I'm not going to be reading the actual language these are from. I'm going to read the English translation of them because I cannot pronounce. But French, I have two from French origin. The first one is to give one's tongue to the cat. What do you guys think that one is? To give one's tongue to the cat.
I mean, obviously, this is when you've run out of cat food. Your cat is looking at you. You know it's going to murder you if you don't give it something to eat soon. You look around in the kitchen. There's nothing it's going to be satisfied by, but you see the knife. And you do what has to be done. That's obviously what it means.
Okay.
To run out of cat food is the short answer.
Well, cats clean themselves with their tongue, so I think it's to bathe someone else.
That's a good guess.
Or to bathe one's own cat.
Perhaps.
Okay. Well, the actual translation is one can't guess. Like saying, tell me the answer. Like Brent, if you were to say, guess what? I'd pretty much say, I can't guess it. I don't know what it is. I have nothing to go on. So that's pretty much what it means. To give one's
your
tongue to the cat.
I don't understand the connection there.
I think that's kind of the point. But
That's what an idiom is. Okay. Another French one is to have mustard going up their nose.
oh man, there are so many ways to go with this one.
Perhaps it's some of those mustards, some mustards have a little bit more of a spice to them. So maybe it's like after you sneeze and it's like really bad and you can feel it like at the very top of your nose, it just kind of burns a bit.
Okay, maybe.
Something like that, maybe.
Maybe.
I'm guessing it's something to do with kids, because kids are always putting stuff up their noses. Like anything they can find, they put in their nose. Mustard is definitely on the list of things people put in their noses, especially kids. So I'm going to say it means think twice before you have kids.
Me personally, I like to put mayonnaise in my nose.
All right. Real quick, Brent, you're showing signs of lassitude. I would like you to show a little more emphasis. The translation is losing your temper. All right, the next one is of Portuguese origin. The quote is, take your little horse from the rain.
From the rain, like REIN?
Precipitation?
No.
Or
Yes, like
Okay.
the weather, as in weather.
To take your little horse from the rain.
Correct.
Well, as we know, as you know, if you've been regularly listening to our podcast, a little horse could kind of translate to mini horse, which is an acceptable
service animal?
support pet. Yeah. And so to remove your little horse from the rain would be to stop burdening your emotional support animal with sadness.
I mean,
Yeah, or else it could show signs of lassitude.
that would make sense if you're a feg hoot. I mean, anyone knows that that is actually a literal saying. It's when your miniature horse has been left out in the rain and you forgot about him. You need to take him out of the rain.
Okay.
How dare you
well,
forget about your
the
miniature
actual
horse.
translation is don't hold your breath or it's not going to happen.
Huh?
Wait, I'm doing the math here. Hold your-
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
It's yeah. I did a quick little calculation here, and something doesn't add up.
All right, we're going to go to the next one. Try to get through all of them I have. Spanish origin is you are very elbow.
You are very elbow.
Correct. As in the joint.
Maybe flexible. Maybe you're really willing to do a lot of different things.
I would almost say it's the exact opposite of that in a sense. What do you have, Daniel, with that information?
Maybe because like if you call someone disjointed, they don't got their life together or so. Actually, I don't actually know what that means. Call someone disjointed. That was just kind of my assumption. So maybe to say you are very elbow means wow, you really have life put together, don't you?
No, it means you are cheap. So, Brent, you're kind of going on willing to do anything. This is kind of the opposite. This person's very cheap.
But how does elbow have to do with? All right, whatever. Maybe elbow implants are really cheap these days.
Maybe, especially in Mexico or Spain.
Mexico, right?
Yeah. Next one. The next two are from. No, actually, I've got three from German origin. The first one is to make pig whistles.
To make pig whistles?
Yes.
Like whistles of pig, or to make a pig whistle?
To make the noise as if a pig was whistling.
Well, first of all, pigs can whistle.
and why have we not been told this?
Because
we know about George Washington's wooden teeth, but not that pigs can whistle.
That's ridiculous. That's completely ridiculous. See, in my mind, it was more like when you're calling pigs like "suey."
Can we get one more of those for the podcast?
A little louder, please.
Yeah, I don't think everyone heard. You really missed your calling, pig farmer.
I should have been a big pig farmer. Then I would have known that pigs can whistle.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
wow, that would really add to the conversation.
He would say that you couldn't believe it, which is the translation.
I think
can't
so.
believe it.
Pigs don't have sweat glands, and so like that's why
I just
they roll
told you
around
the
in mud.
definition.
Oh, crap,
so.
you did?
Well,
Well, I didn't get to give an answer. I'm still
It was
giving
a
my
good-
answer.
Okay,
All
go
right,
for
so I think it's because so pigs can't sweat, and that's why they roll around in the mud to cool themselves off. And so it's if you like you see someone who's really hot, you're like, man, that girl would make a pig whistle. Like so it's a pickup line, I think.
Okay. Wait, I actually didn't hear what the real definition was.
I can't believe it.
I can't believe it.
Yes.
To me.
Which was
Okay,
very on
that
topic.
that kind of makes sense.
That's why I said it when I did, because it was very relevant.
Now, Brent, you raise an interesting point there in that pigs don't have sweat glands, because it really raises into question an American idiom to sweat like a pig. That makes no sense.
Yeah. That actually, I've never thought about that saying with that knowledge in conjunction.
All right. The next one is she's playing the insulted sausage. This one's translation's a little far out there and probably my least favorite out.
Keeping it PG with this one's gonna be hard.
To play, she's playing the insulted sausage.
Correct. As in she's playing the role, not like some kind of instrument made out of a sausage.
I mean,
Well,
that
shoot,
that
okay,
throws
guess I'll
mine
come up
out.
with a new.
I mean, I think it's when you go to your local butcher and like You see his sausages just lined up, and you're like, man, those sausages aren't. No, okay, never mind. I can't continue this one. Continue.
So like if now sausages are very greasy,
Correct.
and so if someone were to call you out on how greasy or sweaty you are, you'd probably go take a shower. So to play the insulted sausage is to take a shower.
Okay.
Makes
Well,
sense to
this
me.
one is definition is as if she's in a huff. The example they used of when to say it is when your sibling refuses to eat their grains. Which more
Stop
so
playing
like,
the insulted sausage. Eat your bread.
so pretty much like
The
they're being
oats
dramatic.
brother.
Or, so like the definition of huff, if you don't know, is to blow out loudly or puff. So I'm guessing more so like being dramatic and obviously not wanting to do what they're told.
All right.
All right.
The last one we have is there is no one standing on one leg.
There's
Clearly, they knew about George Washington's sacrifice to the griffin with his teeth. There's no one standing on one leg because no one bothers to touch the ground anymore. It takes no effort to fly. So there's no one standing on one leg because everyone's flying. No one has
Now-
legs anymore. Everyone cut them off. Not used anymore.
Okay. What I was gonna say is, it takes a decent amount of effort to stand on one leg over a large period of time. So I would say it means to notice a general sense of lassitude in the room. No one's putting any real effort into the project.
I seriously need to get one in.
Well-
What is it?
The translation is you need at least 2 drinks to have a good time. So for you guys who don't know, you need at least 2 sips of apple juice before you're able to have a good time.
Oh. Apple juice.
Me
Yes.
personally, it takes 1 sip of apple juice,
1 sip.
and then
Just a
I'm
taste?
like, ooh.
Then you're gone.
dude. I wouldn't say that. Man, apple juice is really good. I haven't had apple juice in a while. I want apple juice.
I have apple juice in my fridge, but I swear someone's drinking it. Like, no one else comes into my
What if you're drinking it when you're
fridge, but
sleeping?
someone said that, and I don't believe them, but I feel like it has to be true. It's the same thing happening with my ice cream. So either I or someone else comes into my room at night and drinks apple juice and eats ice cream. And that's
Well,
all
this
they
is
do.
this is unscripted, but there was a similar like article about something similar. Whereas there was this I think a husband and wife, they're in this house or an apartment or something, and they were noticing that they were like some of their food was going missing or whatever. So this one guy ended up the guy of the couple set up a camera kind of overviewing the entire like living area and kitchen area, and they checked out the recordings, and there was like this apparently like this little area like I guess near the ceiling or in the attic or something that was kind of like this like kind of tucked away. You can't really see what's in the area. I didn't see a picture, but that's how they described it. And there was this homeless lady that literally would come out and like eat some of their food. That she literally lived in their apartment.
What?
And they like she like on the recording she keep it as G-rated as possible. She went to the bathroom in the sink also.
Oh, okay.
And
They didn't
so-
notice this? They're like, man, the
And-
food's missing, but the excrement in the sink, that's just normal.
Not defecation, just urination. But I'm saying maybe she just rinsed it down. I don't know. But after they figured this out, like he walked out while he knew she was out there, and she literally like saw him and went back to her little area. Not like she tried to run away or anything. Like she was so accustomed to being there that she felt welcomed and just went back to her area.
Yeah.
Isn't that freaky?
I mean, I'd just be impressed if someone was doing that in my apartment though, because in less
There's
than
no
10
space.
seconds, I could walk the entire perimeter of my
Because
interior
almost
apartment.
like in your apartment, literally you could be in multiple spots and see every corner of your apartment. There's not like a place for someone to hide.
So maybe it's Ant-Man. I think Paul Rudd is
Paul-
eating my ice cream and drinking my
Paul
apple
Rudd is
juice.
depending on you and your student income.
Well, I need to start leaving out some greens for him
Well,
then,
hey,
because he needs some
Well,
nutrients.
you know,
He might be one to
that's
play
the
with both
future
worlds.
because Ant-Man had a master's in electrical engineering, so
He
that's the
did.
future you have to look forward to.
Also, I mean, this lady, since she's probably not in a very comfortable place, she might have been feeling some lassitude also.
How's that?
We're ending it now
Because-
before either of you get another chance to say it. And I'm going to avoid any lassitude in my voice for this conclusion. All right. Well, thank you everybody for listening. We appreciate your feedback. We always listen to it. We try and adjust it as much as we can. We really appreciate everyone listening. If wherever you have the ability to do so, rating, commenting, following, and subscribing always really helps us out here. Now that we're
Please
on
tell your friends.
Yeah, for sure. We're now on every podcasting source we know of. Be sure to let us know if there's one that you want us on that we're not. And yeah, so any final thoughts from the other hosts?
I feel pretty good. Yep.
Feel pretty good. I went smooth. Enjoy hanging out with these people, making people laugh.
One day you guys should have final thoughts. All right. Until next time, we want you guys to have a bombastic week.